Leave me to my ravens. Let them pick the flesh from my bones.
You will have no peace. The path in front of you will be littered with the corpses of your enemies. You know, as you say to people as you're dying.
Yeah, you know.
Hello and welcome to the Games That Made Us podcast. I'm future Brent here. Thanks for joining us for the second half of our discussion about Metal Gear Solid. When we last left the guys, they had finished up discussing the plot, and we were getting ready to finish our discussion of the game. So I will, without further ado, turn it back over to past Brent, Kirk, and Benny.
What I want to do is tie the plot summary, like this absurd synopsis, into like why this game should matter for me, let alone anybody, and like why so many people like it, and like because it should be garbage based on what I just read. Like we eviscerated it on the way through. Like it didn't make it through my recital intact. So like, why does this work?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking like on the one hand, it's full of some exciting plot points. The other thing is like, so one way I heard Mel Brooks movies described once upon a time was like, why do Mel Brooks movies work? Because they're full of jokes, but a good portion of them don't land.
Right.
The reason why it works is the ones...
Yeah.
That's fucking exactly it.
It works because it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, and it works because there's not time for the one before it to flop before the next one lands. And it's almost like this plot is like... we discussed very briefly while we took like a short breather, a short break there, a constitutional, if you will, that
bio break. Well, so the plot points, there's so many of them coming so quickly.
Oh, and the ones that you think are critical or are turning points aren't. They feel like if you put them in network TV, they're the equivalent of, I was your brother all along in General Hospital or whatever, and then I'm going to go into a coma and die. Except there's so many of them, this doesn't even fucking... Whatever happens here doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The next plot point is just a stepping stone on the 600 on the way to the culmination.
And there are so many, like... And you know, and we're goofing on it. And believe me, we're going to keep goofing on it. But I don't want to play down this game... Like, just the sound's really good. The graphics are great for for the era. It controls really nicely, particularly compared to other PS1 games of that style. But even the plot, which is the part that we're going to be making the most fun of, to Benny's point, a lot of the parts of it are genuinely moving and really like cool. It does hold you on the edge of your seat pretty damn well.
Yeah.
It manages to avoid, and that's why I compared it to Fifth Element. It manages to avoid being a r/I am 14 and this is deep game.
Yeah.
By about 3 hair's breadth.
That was another thing that I was going to say is that please keep in mind that we're talking about this as 3 men in their late 30s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that when I played this, I was in my early to mid-teens.
Right.
In the early 2000s. So the sensibilities both within me and within the culture were different.
Sure.
And so like a lot of the stuff that we're lambasting is like very like anime otaku weeb shit that we're talking about. That was kind of just like par for the course in anything that was coming out of Japan in general. Like this is, and you still see some of it now. So like imagine that and amp it up 30%.
And also like, I think it's important to keep in mind that this game was so much more cinematic and like plot driven, and it really did feel different, and it really did feel serious and deep by comparison with other games of the era. If you're comparing it to even later Kojima stuff, it looks a little silly, or maybe a lot silly, but it did achieve what it set out to achieve. And I want to be very clear. I want to state this for the fucking record. I loved this game. I had so much goddamn fun with this.
It's an amazing game.
Yeah. And I don't want that to get lost in the absolute tidal wave of shit that I'm about to lay out.
It's one of the best of the generation, one of the best of the platform, the PlayStation 1.
Yep.
There's a reason why it's been remastered and re-released and supported for over 20 years now. Like, there's a reason why we're talking about it at all.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, good. You're looking at me. There's like, oh.
I think Kirk had ideas, and I feel like Brent and I have talked a lot, and Kirk hasn't
No,
talked as
it's
much.
fine. So, and this is an honest thought of mine too.
Yeah.
It's just like, and now when you mention the trailer of him just shooting everything, it's like, well, and it goes into this point. I think the game was actually done. They just didn't have a script for it. Like, mechanically, everything, every arena, every fight, everything, every weapon was already there, and they're just like, we don't have a fucking story for this game. And they even made the trailer because they don't talk about anything. Because how could you make a trailer about this fucking game and have it make sense to the public? I think what happened is, like, they had this game, it was beautiful. They had an idea what they wanted to do. They wanted to add all these sequences.
Yeah.
But they're like, fuck, how do we ship this thing with a story? So a very coked out Kojima was like, was high out of his mind in his apartment and grabbed a bunch of those word magnets out of a box, and he said, "Emashamo-se," and then he fucking like threw it at his fridge. and then like it stuck all to his fridge, and then like he had like one of those beautiful mind moments. He was like, I can make this work. Because he saw a story there on his fridge.
He went to a music festival and accidentally pet a cat that had acid on it.
Yeah, right.
And then he went and sat and watched Escape from New York, and he's like, I can do that.
Well, he petted the cat that had acid and didn't realize that he'd done it, so he took Molly beforehand.
Yes.
So the acid fighting the Molly in his brain.
I still like Mike Kojima of just in that tiny Japanese apartment, though, all coked out, like you see it on his face and nose, and he's sitting there with like drumsticks, like banging on all his pots and pans and shit. And it's like,
like cut to like a massive starscape, and like the universe opens with, oh god. He pounds a gong, and then that's racist, and he opens the universe opens before him. I swear, Brent, you better not cut that out. I hope the sound translated. I just punched my mic stand and it clanged loudly. Oh god, I'm about to cancel myself on accident.
That's excellent.
That's not that racist. Come on, it
We have
comes
gongs
from
here too.
Like,
Where do you think they came from?
yeah, Beethoven was playing
China,
a piano.
but so
That's
does everything
racist.
else.
Yeah. What?
This table came from China. Is that racist?
Yeah.
If I mention he has a table? Maybe. I don't know.
No,
what are the rules
what would be
anymore?
racist
We
is if
can't
I
say
said,
what
and
we
then it
want.
just goes blank.
I just read that synopsis and nothing matters.
Okay.
No,
Like the world is like laws are out.
it's almost better to think about the game where the game was actually mechanically complete, and then they wrote the story on top of it to fit what was going on.
Yeah, I read that synopsis, and now I feel like the Assassin's Creed, like everything, like nothing is forbidden, everything is permitted, or whatever, like that. It's just like the world.
I do have to tie in something very, very important to me, and then you guys can talk all you want. I'll shut the fuck up for the rest of the episode if you want. It's probably for the best.
No.
But there's you crawl through a lot of events and whatever through the game. That's a very important part of it. And at some point, when you first discover Meryl, she's in her cell. Meryl, she's doing like doing sit-ups and push-ups and whatever in her cell.
With her sweet, sweet ass.
Yeah, and that's actually and there's a sequence later too where like we talk about her ass because that is part of it, like how you discover her because she takes the guard's costume.
That's right.
Yeah, she takes the guard's costume, and that's how you discover which one of the costume guards is actually Meryl. Is because you look at her ass. Or you look at her shapely body, and then the game even makes like a wee.
Yeah, it like and
as her hips move back and forth.
The camera starts shaking like you're like losing control.
Yeah.
I forgot that it's
so there's a sequence
contextualized in the plot.
And before you meet the decoy octopus, God, that sounds so absurd. Fucking that. You know what? I'm gonna get on like the Untapped app and Discord. That's gonna be my fucking name from now on. It's decoy octopus.
Yes,
that sounds like a quest you go on. Like, have you gone in or like on an MMO? Like, like I can't figure out how to get into the Citadel. Like, have you gone and visited the decoy octopus?
Yeah, decoy octopus is super awesome.
We're gonna all change our handles on Discord to different
fucking Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Revolver Ocelot. No.
I'll be Psycho Mantis. That's
I'm gonna be Naked Snake.
Yeah. So you crawl through the vents, and this is before you get to the DARPA chief / decoy octopus.
Decoy octopus.
So this is an actual thing in the game.
So good.
You can look down at Meryl's vent and you see her. Like the first time it actually does like a short little cutscene. It's just like, like who's that? And a girl, a girl in video games. Woman. So here's why this is important. So in the game, if you go back and then revisit her vent, I think it's 10 times. You will see
revisited her vent 10 times that night.
Hold on,
damn dude.
Hold on. And I think you just have to go all the way back to the ladder. You have to go back to, I think, the ladder, and then you can turn around and go back to the vent.
Sure.
If you do that, she will be doing. Ben, you can maybe look it up too if you're on your. If you do that 10 times, and on the 10th time, she'll be doing sit-ups in her underwear.
What?
And why is that important, Brent? Why would a teenage care? Why would a teenage boy care? Or what?
You bet the nude mods admit it.
Come on.
Tiny
pixelated boobies. Woo! We did it! Yeah! Woo!
Oh my god, that's so good.
I did that, and I was like, my pants got smaller.
It's all full circle.
Yeah. The pants got smaller.
Oh my god.
Yep.
That's so good.
I did it. It's just kind of like, even though with Tomb Raider, I was like, oh, there's a nude code. No, that didn't exist. But in this game, it legit existed.
All right.
What's it?
I have Psycho Mantis. Let's talk about Psycho Mantis. Can we talk about Psycho Mantis?
Oh yes, let's please, because we absolutely have to touch on Psycho Mantis.
Okay, so first off, just mechanically, the Psycho Mantis fight. Well, all right. How do you explain Psycho Mantis? So Psycho Mantis is a floating BDSM dom.
Okay, I see what you're going for.
With a gas mask. Who is he's one of Liquid Snake's lieutenants, and he is apparently really bad at reading people's minds, because none of the people seem to, like, he actually fails pretty much constantly.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're fighting him, oh god, Kirk's broken.
Kirk broke himself. Oh no.
So on YouTube, because I was looking up like what you have to do to get her to do sit-ups in her underwear, and of course, like, one of the first fucking results is on YouTube videos. Meryl does sit-ups in her underwear for 10 hours. I'm like, of course, why wouldn't
that's
she?
The most internet thing I've ever heard. Nothing will ever be more.
Y'all know about porn, right?
Tiny pixelated
boobies.
But what if I want to go to sleep to Meryl doing sit-ups in her underwear and porn is too loud?
Oh god.
Of course that exists.
That is a specific fetish.
Oh my god.
Oh god. There it is. There it fucking is.
It really is 10 hours long. Why?
God. This is like,
this is the games that made us signing off forever.
This is, well, and what's the guy who does Nier Automata? Yoko Taro?
I don't remember.
The guy who wears the mask all the time?
I don't remember. Great game.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
One of the comments, I almost forgot to watch this today.
Please tell me that you all pictured like 50s businessman in suit with folded newspaper drinking orange juice. All right, let's click. There we go. Very good. Have fun at school today, son.
Holy shit.
Oh, my head hurts. It's so
Wait, hang on.
if the plot of this game wasn't already fucked up enough, it's like, what's going on outside of the game?
So wait, hang on. So is the implication there that this guy watches 10 hours of Meryl doing sit-ups in her underwear every day?
I think that's why.
God, I hope so. You know what?
Oh, man.
If you're gonna do it well.
Yeah. Anything worth doing is worth doing right.
Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I feel different.
You know, anyways, that was the games I made. Oh, man.
Okay. Hang on. Psycho Manus.
Doing sit-ups for 10 hours in his underwear. Oh yeah, this dude's like basically a skeleton.
He's grody. But yeah, so the fight with Psycho Mantis is one of the more memorable parts of the game.
No one knew it at the time, but this is maybe the most metagaming experience in games for a long time.
Yeah.
Up to and afterwards.
Yeah.
And I literally mean metagaming in terms of like self-referential. The game is itself being like cheeky with us.
Yeah.
And reminding you you're playing a game.
Well, and one of the things that like I don't know that we've mentioned, but the game makes frequent mention of the controller. Like it'll be like push the select button. And not like in the cute, like Link's Awakening way, where it's like, I've heard that if you push the select button, you can do this. I'm just a kid. I don't know what that means. But no, like like Naomi, who doesn't feature in the plot description at all, but is Jennifer Hale, by the way. So another Jennifer Hale game.
Oh shit, that's right.
So we've covered 2 of hers.
Are you watching Meryl? Press X to goon.
God damn it.
But like she's like, put your controller on your arm and then like I'll make you feel better.
That's right.
That happens in the game.
And of course it triggers the vibration.
Yeah. And then David Hayter goes, ooh, that feels nice. There's like out of context Metal Gear Solid clips could be like cut together.
Metal Gear Solid go brrr.
But yeah, so you're fighting Psycho Mantis and you have to like, which fucking sucks on an emulator, but you're supposed to like swap your controller from port 1 to port 2 to keep fighting it.
Mm-hmm. So let's describe the fight a little bit from like a gaming standpoint.
Yeah. So
what's happening is that the game literally has some pre-built algorithms to look at your save games. It looks at your memory card to see what games you've played, and if you've played a certain subset of games,
Konami games.
That's right.
Yeah.
Psycho Mantis has responses to those.
Yeah.
And so he appears to be psychic.
Yeah.
To know that you've done certain things. And it's kind of a clever little, like, again, it's metagamey.
And none of this is communicated to you. If you don't unplug your controller
Yeah.
and plug it into the other port, Psycho Mantis, because of the mechanics of the fight, he will basically be able to perceive what you're going to do, or if you're shooting a gun at him, he'll, because the game knows your inputs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's like perfect. It's like a perfect Pong opponent.
Yes, and then when you unplug your controller, the screen goes black and says Hideo or Hideo.
Yeah, Hideo, yeah.
And then you plug it, but then after that, like, and you plug it into port 2, like, that's the way you win the fight, which is weird, and also metagaming.
And he even, like, says something to the effect of, like, oh, I can no longer, like, read your
he's like,
moves or something like that.
But that might be speaking about his illiteracy, though. I don't know.
That's patricide.
And then when you beat him, he makes a reference. He's like, "So you switched the, meaning super meta gamey shit."
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, that was a really fun fight, and like, it was so disappointing going from the Psycho Mantis fight to the immediate next thing, which is the go all the way to where Wolf is, Sniper Wolf. See Meryl get shot, and then it's like, okay, walk all the way back to the start of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you fucking assholes. Like, plus those fucking wolves. So there's like these wolves.
But you do have to remember that was really common in games at the time, though. It's the same bullshit in like fetch quests. Like, you made me walk all this way just to make me walk all this way.
You didn't get the puppy to pee on your box?
I didn't.
That's not a sex act. That's like an actual thing. Daddy had kittens, spank him hard.
Wait, it wasn't until just now.
Wait, hang on. So if you wear the cardboard box, the dog pees on you?
So what you do, you punch Meryl when you're at the point where you have to crawl. No, this is serious. This game's weird.
Deadly serious.
I have no reason to lie at this point.
So
you're at a point where you before you go to the field with like the wolves. There's a pup running around you and Meryl.
Yeah.
If you punch Meryl, then quickly equip the box. The dog, there's a little cutscene. The pup will pee on the box.
Okay, I've never done that one.
Really?
Yeah, I never did that.
Or then on your way back, did you also know if you equip the kerchief?
Yes,
then the wolves will avoid you.
Yes,
but on the way there, how you get the wolves to avoid you is
because it's Sniper Wolf's kerchief, right?
Yeah.
I remember that one.
But yeah, you can. And then when you go through where all the wolves are, you equip the box with the dog pee on it or the wolf pee on it. Then the wolves will leave you alone, making that section that much easier.
And then Solid Snake equips Meryl's box.
What do you mean?
It's a sex thing.
Pulls up 10-hour video.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me show you.
I'm going to show you this one more time.
Pause for 10 hours while we watch Meryl. Okay.
We'll be right back with you in 10 hours.
Okay, hang on. I wanted to talk about something. And it's great because I made notes as I was playing. Because I'd only ever gotten about 2 hours into this game before, and I was like, I need to remember this shit. So it's great because I've got this big long list of notes, and I keep going, oh shit, this guy too, oh shit, this guy too, oh shit, this guy too. So this game is like Highlander. Okay? You know how in Highlander they have a Scottish guy play a Spaniard who's actually Egyptian, but they don't make him change his accent, and then there's a French guy who's playing a Scot, but like he still speaks with a French accent, and then there's an American guy who plays a Central Asian dude, but he still speaks. You know that deal? Okay. Here's the thing though with Metal Gear Solid. It's a fucking video game, so the same group of dudes got to pick what the character models looked like, what the key art looked like, and who the voice actors were, and what accent those voice actors used. So I have no idea how they fucked this up so badly. But Revolver Ocelot looks and sounds like a Scot. He speaks with a Scottish accent. He dresses like your classical idea of like old Scottish man. And then 3/4 of the way through the movie, he's like, yes, I have to go back to Mother Russia. And you're like, wait, what? He's like, oh yeah, I've got to build the Russian Republic back up. And it's like, fuck, okay, sure. I guess, why not? And then fucking Sniper Wolf, who is a blonde woman with a thick Russian accent, on her deathbed is like, I grew up in Kurdistan. I'm a Kurd. And it's like, so you're Iraqi. You're a blonde, blue-eyed, Russian-accented Iraqi woman. That's
from a Muslim majority country.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That's what that makes sense.
Gaslighting the game.
And then Naomi, we have to talk about Naomi. But Naomi, like, looks and sounds, and that's Jennifer Hale's part, looks and sounds like just, regular ass British woman. And then in the last hour of the game, she's like, well, my skin tone, I never knew if I was Asian or Indian or perhaps that's where, and it's like, what? How are we supposed to, she's green, first off, her fucking key art is green. So, like, how do you think that we picked up on that? Okay? Like, there's no indication of that. Well, and then everyone in this every single character, including blonde Liquid Snake, is apparently half Japanese. Every character in this fucking game has like a throwaway line about their Japanese ancestry. So, or their time in Japan, or their love for Japanese culture. And I'm like, Hideo, just because you're obsessed with American culture doesn't mean everyone in the United States is obsessed with Japan.
Yeah, but probably everyone who played this game was.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Also, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a vampire in the next one.
What?
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Don't even worry about lineage. Like, humanity doesn't even play a part eventually.
Okay. Okay, let me guess. Is he like obviously East Asian but speak with like a Mexican accent?
No, but I wish he did.
It's like, why not? No.
Also, speaking
missed opportunity.
Speaking of accents,
did he have a Scottish accent to you? I
Yeah,
don't remember
God,
his
yeah.
accent.
Oh God, yeah.
What? Vamp?
No.
Okay.
Revolver
Ocelot?
Ocelot.
Revolver Ocelot.
I guess I never got Scottish.
That's how I
don't
clocked
have that.
it.
I don't have that memory of his accent being that way.
Fair.
But if you clock that, then that's
Yeah.
And I could be full of shit.
I remember playing it when I was younger, and I kind of touched on this because we were talking about like there are certain times where you can miss entire items, and it really there's certain ones where if I forget, and I've played the game to beat it so much, it's very hard for me to miss anything anymore.
Yeah.
But the most frustrating one, because you can miss this, and then it'll like fuck up your entire game if you miss getting the thermal goggles.
Yeah.
It's fucking almost impossible to get through the rest of the game.
Yeah, and there was a lot of like, so we haven't really mentioned it, but there's a lot of, this game almost has like some like Zelda-like or like Metroidvania kind of elements in the fact that a lot of gameplay is sort of gated off. Well, it's not gated off. If you want it to go well, you're going to need certain equipment. Like there's body armor that makes certain fights really significantly easier. You need the diazepam to do the sniper wolf fight well.
No.
Well,
I'll talk about that if you want me to.
or you could just be better at video games would probably be the other option.
I mean, it does make it easier.
Am I the only one that uses the Nikita launcher against her?
Oh, well, that's like,
Yeah,
you can do that, but like, but the way they intend you to encounter the fight
Yeah,
is with the to counter sniper, and the diazepam makes it easier.
Harumph!
I say harumph to you, sir. I was gonna say the if you use the Nikita launcher, oh shit, you wouldn't have to go back and get the fucking sniper rifle.
You still have to, but you don't have to use it.
Oh yeah, huh?
The Nikita launcher is just hilarious.
It
Yeah.
really is. So,
And
It makes some of the best
They prepared for that.
YouTube.
She will. If she spots the rocket, like, because you know how... So when you fire the Nikita launcher, it takes a couple seconds for it to, like, boost and start going full speed. If it's slow enough, she will shoot it
yeah,
and blow it
Well,
up.
In fact, you can use the boost deliberately to
Yeah.
avoid that.
Yeah. But I want to make sure all of our fan knows.
Vulcan Raven also does that. Like
Yeah.
he'll shoot down your rockets.
But him with a Gatling gun, makes it a little more sense. Well, the whole game doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah,
it makes,
I was gonna say.
Yeah, him with the Gatling gun shooting it down, I'm like, yeah, that's a huge spray of lead coming that way. But her just straight up sniping a rocket out of the air.
Well, I don't know,
Like, that's pretty cool.
We play Destiny and we shoot projectiles out of the air all the time.
But we're paracausal space wizards. Like, so
That's true. We're like overpowered Metaphysical zombies. It's cool.
To be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that every character in this game was a metaphysical space zombie. I would not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's Metal Gear Solid 3. Like,
yeah.
Snake Eater. That's really the title.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, no, the titles of these games are so delightful. It's like Rising Revengeance. Yeah. What is Revengeance?
Mm-hmm.
Explain it to me. Like that's when that game came out, and I haven't gotten a chance to play it, but when that game came out, I really like my first thought was like I want to hold him by his shirt front and just be like, what does Revengeance mean, you motherfucker?
You mean Kojima?
Yeah.
That and like I must have missed something in one of the games, but when did Raiden become like a full-on cyborg? Maybe they explain that in that game, that's why I need to play it, but it's like he was a full
like somewhere human. Between 2 and 3.
Yeah, just somewhere.
Yeah.
Should we explain it? No.
It's all just right. As likely that they don't explain it. Yeah.
Or they're like, you were actually a cyborg all along. Ooh.
Yeah. You were actually Decoy Octopus.
Yeah, you were Decoy.
I mean, that might as well be the plot of Metal Gear Solid 2, because it's like, everything you know is wrong, like the Weird Al song. Just like, you're fucking wrong about everything.
I love the idea.
Like, we're not only going to gaslight the character, but you as the player, too.
You know, there's the meme about, like, you kiss your kids and you lay back in your deathbed and your eyes slowly close, and then the director calls cut and you were Gary Oldman the whole time. That, but Decoy Octopus.
Yeah. What if that's like Kojima's like final act is like he's on his deathbed and like he's got like a time.
I was Decoy Octopus,
or he's got like a timed like YouTube video to go out the moment he dies. Like the monitor flatlines and it launches and it's just like.
He pulls off his mask. He's Willem Dafoe. Like, what the fuck?
Wait, what? That's excellent.
Then he pulls off his second mask, and he's like a Scooby-Doo villain.
Yeah.
I would have gotten away for it, too, if it wasn't for that meddling liquid snake.
I was trying to clone people.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, okay, so, like, and the other thing that I wanted to mention is I love that, like, okay, the number of times that there's, like, a very elaborate plot point. It's not just, like, somebody says, hey, this thing happened, and then it's wrong or a lie. No. We go all the way down the rabbit hole. Yeah. We eat every part of the buffalo, and then it's all lies. Because it's the liquid and solid snake analog cloning recessive meaning bad genes thing, okay? And then at the very end of the game, they're like, but they're having that conversation. And
who fucking knows, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Was it the president?
Or was it?
Was it?
But so they're talking about that, and it's
Psycho Octopus, actually.
Yeah.
Or Decoy Octopus.
Psycho Octopus.
Yeah, there we go. The love child of Psycho Mantis and Decoy Octopus.
Wait, guys, if you can't
he
fucking
wears
tell,
a jester hat and runs around like a maniac.
We're barely holding it together. This plot is barely holding itself together.
So like, fucking insane.
It's so nuts. But okay. Jesus. Okay, but so at the end, then Revolver Ocelot is like, oh yes, so the stronger one died, and he still thought he was the recessive one the whole time, and it's like, what? Why would you go through that whole, like, build up this whole fucking plot of, like, why, like, how he was cloned and analog cloning and recessive versus dominant genes, and one means strong and one means weak, and the whole reason why Liquid Snake hates Solid Snake is because he's got the recessive genes, and so Solid Snake's supposed to be, like, the intrinsically better soldier, and then at the end it's like, well, actually, Liquid was the stronger one the whole time. So, and it's like, but he's dead now, so who cares?
So there's a thing that Kojima does throughout, like the whole series, and just arguably as a like a producer in general.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of something else. I can't remember who to attribute this to, but there's the saying about, or God, let me reframe this. So there's a criticism of like a filmmaker who was like less accomplished than like other very accomplished filmmakers.
Yeah.
And the criticism is that this guy has seen that other directors tilt their cameras at certain moments.
Yeah.
And wants to emulate it, but doesn't understand why they do it.
Okay.
So like, it's like emulating artsy stuff without really understanding what purpose it serves.
So Michael Bay.
And fair enough.
Yeah.
And I get that a little bit here too, where it's like Kojima or whoever wrote with him had seen that certain plot twists go certain ways.
Right.
But isn't exactly sure why that's done.
Yes.
And I get that a little bit here. I get a little bit of that action where it's like he kind of like failed upwards into kind of learning how to tell a story by telling some exciting but terrible, like bad stories.
Well, and how much of it is cultural bias? Because like one of the or not even cultural bias necessarily, but like cultural, because a
norms
lot of
or expectations.
Yes, because like, and again, I know I hate to keep coming back to it, but one of the reasons why I mentioned Janae is it's like, okay, his movies are very clearly influenced by American sci-fi. That's very clearly like something that he's pulling a lot of influence from. But he's French. And so like he's got things that he likes about what we do, but he doesn't necessarily get the cultural underpinnings of it. And like Kojima, it's the same way. Like it almost feels like Uncanny Valley, like playing a lot of Kojima stuff, because it's like, oh, he's taking elements from Escape from New York, from like Die Hard or any of these like 80s action movies, and he's from the Bond films, and he's putting them in his story, but he doesn't get the like cultural context and the expectations that come with that. And so it almost feels like an AI generated 80s action movie at points where it's like,
and maybe the aesthetic, like maybe as an aesthete of a particular culture might look at how clean a plot is. And I was thinking of another analog. So like that person might look at, from one culture to the other, at a plot as being way too overcomplicated or very exciting because we wanted to include a lot of minutia and things. So I'm thinking of two similar analogs from similar time periods. Let's talk about like, not the original, but like Jeff Goldblum's in The Fly.
Yeah.
He didn't make it, but like, you know, The Fly. So we're talking about like literally like the Cronenbergian kind of like, like
Cronenberg trigger. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Everything we do comes around full circle. I promise, guys. So like Cronenberg motifs and like the mutation element and everything. And then let's look at like Akira.
Yeah.
You know, Japanese, you know, animated film about a very different scenario that kind of results in similar sorts of
Yeah,
I mean, it's a very similar sort of plot. Like, character gets horrifically mutated and gains some crazy powers and things go wrong. The Fly is pretty bare bones in terms of like B plots and other tertiary things. Akira is full of lore and B plots and extra characters, and it's long and it's deep. They're in some ways they're I had nothing for that. Well done, sir. Yeah, I mean they're effectively the same movie if you boil it down enough, but they're in no way the same in terms of structure.
Yeah.
But I think some of it might be just like a preferential thing.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
By the way, watch The Fly and Akira.
Yes,
because they're both fun, great, creepy movies.
Yeah. Also, oh my god, what's her name? The chick from The Fly and Beetlejuice and League of Their Own. What is her name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gina Davis.
Davis.
Yeah.
Oh, I was right. Cool.
Yeah, Gina Davis.
I figured I was wrong.
Like Gina Davis was one of my first. My pants are smaller.
Yeah.
From when
My
I was
pants got smaller.
like that. Yeah, and that was not a good thing to happen during The Fly. That's not. That's not
Yeah.
when you want that to
Yeah.
happen. I'm still working through that drama, but yeah.
We can see it when you walk around. Or when you skateboard backwards.
That's why I've got that fly mask downstairs. I mean, what? Also 6 arms.
Well, now I'm intrigued again.
I was decoying octopus the whole time.
You know what? This plot doesn't know where it's going, and we don't either.
I was going to say...
I just wanted to really quickly touch on, like, there wasn't a lot of music. The music they did have playing was, they really capture the ambience of the area you are in very well, while also adding, like, a little extra something.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have, like, if you're out in the open, obviously there's a lot of, like, wind sounds and whatever. But there are certain areas where you do get kind of like that, like we were talking about Halo earlier, the like the chanting or whatever.
Yeah.
Like what's the Gregorian chanting?
Yeah, they have that too in Metal Gear Solid in the background, certain areas, like in the more industrial areas. If you like. I really think they did a great job bringing that part out. And then just their sound in general.
Yes.
There's
a lot of little stuff like footsteps on grates and
yes,
stuff.
because that comes into the gameplay too. Like if you're running too quickly,
what was that?
Or moving too, what
just
was
a
that?
Box.
Yeah, and then it's all this shit.
You know that's fair though. We really didn't talk too much about like the experience of playing the game. We kind of talked about like what the game does, but not really much because it not that it's bare bones or that it's stripped down. I mean, it's a fully featured action game. You've got sneaking mechanics. You've got stealth and sneaking. You've got action mechanics and shooting. You've got an inventory management to do. Like it is a fully functional video game that you play through interactively. But there's nothing terribly innovative about it. It works. It plays well.
It does a really, really good job of kind of doing the thing that we praised Chrono Trigger of doing, of giving you what you need when you need it in the quantity that you need to do the next thing, so that although like you're saying, like the inventory management, it could be a lot, it could be a pain in the ass, it really isn't. Like
although the idea of carrying multiple rocket launchers and all those guns and grenades and whatever is like kind of absurd, but
in his skin tight suit, and he's always pulling a fucking
pulls rocket launcher out of a Stinger missile launcher literally out of nowhere.
You know, women have more places to hide things.
Oh my god! And then she even adds the wink. Like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's like please sexualize her some more.
God.
Editor Brent, real quick, just so you know what I was originally mentioning, in case you wanted to edit in that sound I was talking about. It's this one.
Yeah,
where it first does the where it goes. Yeah, where it goes. It does the.
Yeah.
I
love that part.
The leading into Pursuit and everything. Kind of.
It's almost like a JRPG fight music. Like
absolutely,
like it functions that same way because it's when the
either random encounter, you've encountered an enemy on the field and you're into the battle mode.
And then it flashes red to the which I could have talked about that too. I guess we still can, but like the how if you are detected by one of the genome soldiers who are sort of also your brothers. God, we didn't mention that. Fuck. But
how can we mention everything, even in one of the games, let alone the overlap from the overall?
God, it's so fucking crazy. But yeah, so
we might as well just like loop in like Keyblades and like fucking like Disney princesses and shit.
But God, no,
cut there.
No, let's not go to Kingdom Hearts. I'm not up for Kingdom Hearts. Have you ever heard? There's this song that is just literally the plot of the first two Kingdom Hearts games.
Are you talking about the Starbomb song?
Yeah.
That was what I alluded to earlier with the Starbomb has a song about the plot to Metal Gear Solid 2. After we're done, we'll have to listen to that.
Yeah, that's excellent. But yeah, if you're detected, because while you can play this as just like Rambo, going through killing everyone, it really does make more sense, especially since ammo is somewhat limited. It does make sense to sneak through most of the game. If you're detected, there
are some parts where you have to do stealth though.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, because there's
yeah.
like the nuclear warhead storage.
Or if you're to start firing, they'll fill the chamber with gas
or
whatever.
That's what happens there. Yeah.
And some genuine puzzle solving, like like the Nikita missile isn't just an offensive weapon; it's also a tool for solving some of the game's puzzles too. It's kind of cool.
The Lefem Nikita missile. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah,
Classic
that has to be what that's named after, right? Like, there's no way it's not.
I actually think that it might be.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have read that somewhere. Or just a joke about it.
But you're talking about when you're stealthing and you're detected and
so then it pops up and there's a
evasion.
Yeah, there's a red timer that starts counting down for you to
evade.
Yeah,
and then become anonymous again.
Yeah, you have to take out whoever's chasing you and then hide.
Or effectively run away far enough, because there's the alert meter and that starts at 99, goes down. Then you go into the evasion stage where they don't actively see you anymore, and then that counts down.
You're basically in Vice City. You've hit a hooker with your dildo bat, and you have to evade the police for long enough to become anonymous again.
Yep.
Good old dildo bat.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a thing in Vice City? I never encountered that.
It's either Vice City or like a Saints, or no, Just Cause, or is it Saints Row? One of them. Where there's a dildo bat.
There's definitely a dildo.
I don't want to Google it, and that
there's definitely one in one of the. Forever. There's definitely one in one of the Grand Theft Auto games.
Yeah.
Okay, San Andreas is the one that I played the most.
Maybe it's San Andreas.
I don't recall it being.
Vice City is definitely the funniest one for this kind of stuff, though. So,
okay. So anyway, dildo bats aside, that's something, and that I did really like, and the game just in general does a really good job of building tension. One of my notes was like, I love the elevators that they don't just instantly open; they do the thing that elevators actually do, where the elevator car.
You hit the call button, you have to wait.
Car.
I think so.
Thing, box, the big metal box that you get in, and then you plummet to your death. Or maybe that's just my nightmares.
No.
But yeah, and it's a very effective tool at building tension, because you'll hit the button and you'll see that white cone of a genome soldier coming towards you, and it's like, shit, I gotta go hide, wait for the door to open.
Tension and just atmosphere, because it does add to the realism as well. You press a call button, you have to wait for an elevator, in the real world. And then you get in the elevator and you press the button, then you have to wait for the elevator to move.
And the environments are very moody. They're very good. The opening sequence, like Kirk was talking about, like the credits superimposed over the action, but you've got this quiet winter or quiet Alaskan night with a snow, a snow flurry coming in as you're sneaking, and there's
a
other
really cool, vocal music piece that plays over top of when Snake is going into the little bay,
and there's a lot of and like the industrial motifs and the industrial feel and the technological feel of everything as you kind of delve deeper.
It's very good at mood building, and it feels like a very plausible. It feels like visually, it's a very plausible sort of near future world. And yeah, I am, whether it's true or not, I am like headcanoning Kirk's theory that the game was done, and then they were like, "Hey Hideo, can you like write a plot that makes these things happen?" And also, it's too late. We're shipping the game in like 2 weeks, so we can't move anything. Everything's in the order that it's in. It's like, wait, that guy was dead. Why is he over here?
And
I don't know. Figure it out, dude.
And the actors got all their takes perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I will say, okay, the voice acting in this is sometimes a little cringy.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. I like David Hayter. You get why he stuck with the series so long, because he's great.
And the paycheck, come on.
Yeah. Well, you can't be directing fucking was it Wolves, the shitty B-tier Canadian werewolf movie that he directed. You can't be doing that all the time.
No, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, David.
That's exciting.
David Hayter's also a screenwriter. Like he's written a lot of not great stuff. Anyway,
Otacon.
I am Batman.
Snake.
Did you guys ever play it enough to unlock like tuxedo mode or anything like that?
I don't know about that. I played it through a couple times to get like the invisibility.
Yeah.
Accessory.
Otacon's like so you can become Predator.
Yeah.
That cloaking mechanic, it's great because it looks exactly like Predator in the movie Predator. When you turn on the cloak, where you get like when you move, you see but at least as the player, you get like kind of that green wireframe look on your end, so you can at least see where you're at.
Oh, that's cool.
When you get effectively Otacon and Grey Wolf, the cyborg ninja. You get depending on the ending you can get the stealth technology on your next like new game plus.
Yeah.
So you can just run circles around guards, and they're just like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Tuxedo mode, I think, if I remember correctly, is so you can get 2 different endings right out of the gate. It's and I'm going to be a spoiler owl here. If you're at the torture sequence, if you make it through the torture sequence, you get the Meryl ending, and then you get the bandana, which in your new game plus or your next playthrough gives you infinite ammo. If you submit to the torture and you're just like, whatever, I'll talk, then you get the Otacon ending where where Meryl dies and you get Otacon, and then on your next new game plus or your walkthrough, you get the stealth camouflage.
Okay.
But if you play it once and then play it again, you can actively get both of them. I think after you beat it while holding both of those at the same time, you unlock tuxedo mode, where he's kind of like he has like a James Bondian tuxedo.
That's awesome.
There's like different cameras you can get too, I guess, from like mailing, and I never really cared for that. I don't know if they were trying to do some like killing flash or whatever. What's the name of that Japanese game where you have that special camera and you're supposed to take pictures of ghosts?
Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame, yeah. I don't know if they were trying to go with like a Fatal Frame thing, because apparently these cameras you can see different things. I don't know if they were trying to harken back to that, but
I only ever got the optical camouflage part. That's as far as I ever got.
Oh, I played the hell out of this game as a kid.
And it's a great game. It's fun. It's got a lot of replayability, if only because it's impossible to absorb all of the elements of the plot the first time through. So it's not like you can permanently spoil yourself for what's going on, because you're going to forget fucking something.
Mm-hmm.
Can I have one more thing that I have to mention, because it had me like in stitches. Like I literally had to put, as I was playing it on my Odin, I had to like set it down because my hands were shaking so hard because I was laughing so hard. So, okay. Cyborg Ninja? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gray Fox.
Gray Fox. Okay. So there's a character named Naomi that we've mentioned who is like a scientist, but she's not really the scientist. She's actually the other scientist, died, and then she took her place.
That's right. I forgot.
Okay.
She's an imposter.
She's
I forgot about that.
This is we haven't. I want to point out, listener. We flew past this, and this is the kind of just extraneous, insane detail that this game has. But
we love this game, and I didn't fucking remember this.
Yeah. So okay, Naomi, it turns out is actually the sort of adopted sister, but not really, of Gray Fox, because Gray Fox killed her parents, but she thinks that he was just a nice soldier who came and adopted her, but actually he felt bad because he was a young dude and he murdered her parents. So then he adopted her. But so, okay. So
that's the most anime shit I've ever fucking heard.
Okay. But so Gray Fox, Cyborg Ninja, and Solid Snake are actually like besties, sort of, but actually they never were friends. They just tried to kill each other. But Solid Snake is like, yeah, but like I could always trust him and somehow I like him. And Naomi's like, oh, that's weird. That makes me not want to kill you. Oh yeah, because she's actively trying to murder Solid Snake through the whole game. That's not important. But so anyway, the reason why I bring all this up is your first fight with, or I guess it's your only fight with Cyborg Ninja. He is sexually aroused by Solid Snake hitting him. And it's like, I mean, I want to be clear, it's subtext, but like only just, because he just goes, hit me again, hit me again, that's good. Over and over again, every time you strike him, and you can't shoot him until the very end. So you just have to run up to him, punch him in the face, and then he goes, hit me again, harder, Snake.
Harder. That's right.
And I was sitting in my basement playing this game, just howling laughing as Cyborg Ninja just like gets increasingly sexually aroused by getting the shit beat out of him by David Hayter.
So I still really like the hallway before the fight. I remember the first time I saw that as a kid, where it's
just all the bodies,
the chopped up bodies and the blood everywhere. God. That was very cool.
Yes,
yeah, that is
very moody.
Well,
atmospheric,
and because of and there's not a lot of backtracking in this game. There's only a couple times where you have to legit backtrack, but you do wind up running through that hallway, and it gets to the point where you get kind of like numb to it, where you're just like, God damn it, there's a body in the way, I gotta go juke slightly left, slightly right, and you get the fucking pattern memorized of like how you have to juke around their like decapitated corpses.
So in your notes for the game, because we have a private Discord section where we post things for our use, and you had posted a number of things, and at one point you punctuated the first post that you made with Japanese anime, and it occurred to me it occurs to me right now that answers every question that we've ever had about this game up until now.
Why this Japanese anime?
Well, and I love too because we've mentioned Otacon, Hal Emmerich, who is like becomes one of the like few mostly reliable allies,
and is a long-standing ally throughout the series going forward.
Right, and
as we mentioned, self-avowed otaku, so like
yes.
like major anime fan.
And I love because this being, was it 98?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this being 98, Konami justifiably had no confidence that the average American or Western player of the game would have any kind of deep understanding of like Japanese pop culture.
For us, it was available through video games and almost nowhere else.
Yeah,
even anime wasn't quite as it has become ubiquitous. And then it was, and even in the years after this, it was accessible but not ubiquitous. Yeah. At this time, it was nowhere.
Yeah, it's not as if the internet was still very primitive, so you couldn't even like hop on Amazon and buy some manga of a popular thing over there. You couldn't do it. It did not exist.
So for a lot of us, if it was anywhere, it was on Adult Swim during and this was after this too. The 1998 Adult Swim wasn't to my knowledge, to my memory, wasn't broadcasting anime. Well, and this would have been years later. Yeah, you had to buy box sets.
Yeah, I was gonna say 98. If you wanted anime, you would have had to go to a town that was large enough to have a business that would sell you VHS tapes of imports or local dubs of
DBZ anime. Was around at least. I do recall DBZ being around.
And Dragon Ball was even before that. Like that goes back to the 80s. So Dragon Ball and DBZ existed.
I remember going out of my way to watch DBZ at a friend's house before. I would say I was in junior high or middle school.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
so, but I mean, that's so big. That's fucking everywhere. That's like trying to find a place that doesn't have soccer or a country that doesn't have soccer.
That's a good point, though. It was probably available somewhere, but it was barely.
Point still stands.
It was barely available, and in the 10 years following that, it would be. It would be
grew substantially.
It grew to the point where it was still a niche, but it was accessible.
Yeah.
Now you have your Crunchyrolls and your Funimation and your
hula hoops.
Old man yells at
today with your Crunchyrolls.
Old man yells at cloud.com.
Yeah.
But at the time, video games were where I was exposed to the anime motifs a lot. Yeah. Like I didn't even know what I was looking at, but when we covered Chrono Trigger, and we may have alluded to it a bit, like that's all anime stylistically.
Yep.
I didn't even know that that's necessarily what I was looking at, retroactively. Of course that's exactly what it is, but
we didn't know that as kids.
Yeah. Well,
so not only the stylistic, but like the motifs and the storytelling elements are really presented to a lot of us for the first time through some of these mediums, like through the games.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it was.
I'm sure a lot of your shooters, Brent, like a lot of your bullet hell games that you played when you were younger, were inspired by anime and manga.
But yeah, the thing that I wanted to talk about with Otacon is Kojima's created this character who is an otaku, who is like really into this world. But there's no confidence that the actual audience for the game in the United States is going to have any idea what the fuck he's talking about. So he has to over-explain everything in delightful fashion. And I love the like in-universe explanation of why what should just be a big rolling tank is actually a mecha. It's like, well, Otacon was like, I thought it looked cool because I saw stuff like it in anime. And I'm like, this is the most navel-gazing, like, Ouroboros. It's like a Japanese artist going, well, I want a mecha in my game, so I'll have a character who likes Japanese stuff, including mechas. So he'll make a character, or he'll make a machine that's a mecha, like, in stuff that I like. And I'm like, oh, my head hurts.
Well, and the thing is, like, for the first time you encounter that Ouroboros circle, you enter it at some point. I think this is the first time this game was the first time that I'd ever heard the term otaku.
Yeah.
Oh, and that it would have been one of the first lead-ins to the kind of nerddom that I had engaged with.
Oh, sure. A lot of yaoi. Super yaoi. He's so heavy into yaoi. It's really putting a strain on our friendship, to be honest.
I'm really glad that a lot of our listeners won't be able to spell that, because otherwise some search histories just got compromised.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So do we bail while we have a chance?
I was gonna say,
just hit the eject button.
I was gonna say, before I start talking about various types of hentai, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Okay. Any closing thoughts that you all have on Metal Gear Solid before we get the fuck out of here?
Just
that this is. I know we've been effusive about how fucking ridiculous this game is.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I've kind of a filter on myself most. Like I try to drop the fuck word only a few times during you know an episode at most, but like this game just fucking warrants it all the time. It's so stupid, but I love this game.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It is.
It's probably hard to. It's probably not necessarily accessible to a lot of to maybe some of our younger, any younger people, but it's worth it if you can get past that. It's one of my favorites. That's the reason why I brought it up.
Yeah, it was just not necessarily the game itself, but just the everything surrounding the game at that point in my life. It brings like some of my fondest memories were around that same time period of going over to my friend's house who owned a PlayStation. You know, there's always that one rich kid who had like every fucking
right.
But he was really cool.
Yeah.
But going over to his house and, you know, playing Metal Gear Solid, and then if we wanted to play together, there was like Cool Borders 3 or whatever, because that was out at that time.
Yeah.
It was just a very like looking back at it, it's like in this game, which is really a lot of fun. So it's that nostalgia of the game itself, and then also my life around it. Everything going on around it was just it was a very good time in my life too at the same time. So that adds to the fondness of it, and why I, even as an adult, I'm happy to pick it up and play it again. When I played it through again, I played the original PlayStation version. Yeah. I was half tempted to go down into the basement where I still have my original PS1 to this day, and I still have Metal Gear Solid on disc. Nice. I wanted to pop that in there, and my memory card probably still has like a save file from way back in the day. I almost did it, but I'm like, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm an adult and I have responsibilities, and I need save states because I don't have time to correct my mistakes all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and play it on RetroArch. And but the game is just it's so lovely. I was really happy when Benny suggested this as a game. I'm like, oh my god, I could talk a long time about it, but I won't.
It's my opinion that, believe it or not, Metal Gear Solid 2 is even crazier in some ways.
Okay.
Yeah, you had me at vampire.
Right.
I don't think it's so. I think it's a more cohesive plot with way crazier bullshit.
Yeah, or what was that one lady's name who was just like, I can't die and bullets can't hit me when? It's just like, well, it's that electromagnetic thing you're wearing. You know, that big thing you're wearing? That's why the bullets aren't hitting you. It's like redirect. And then she's like, oh, woe is me. Death will never find me, or whatever. You know who I'm talking about? She's usually paired with Vamp all the time. But it's the absurd. It's like, yeah, you can't get hit by bullets because of the fucking electromagnetic thing that's attached to you. How do you not notice this?
We couldn't do Alaskan Islands like Aleutian Islands again, so this time we're on a fucking oil rig.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, the fat roller skating guy. We're in the heavy body armor. Like, he is fucking morbidly obese.
Okay, bail before we don't have any more.
And he's wearing like a full bomb disposal unit guy, a whole one of those things, and he's skating around on fucking roller skates at high speeds, with sparks and everything.
You might think we're fucking reciting the plot to like RoboCop 2 or something. No, this is just the game.
I believe that.
Yeah,
it's good again. It's another good game. It's ridiculous, and it's still great.
Good. But
God,
so
what the fuck is
absurd.
wrong with it? All right.
I
have no more. My tank is empty.
I'm there.
I'm standing up. Like,
I really enjoyed this game. I obviously have a lot less nostalgia for it. This was my first time finishing it, but yeah, it's well worth a playthrough. And again, it's super good in. If you are going into it with a willingness to meet the plot where it's at, you're going to have a great time.
Yes.
If you are going into it with I like picking everything apart, and you're not going to enjoy it. Okay, you have to go into it the way you would go into like a those like late night like 3 movies from the 80s marathons where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go with a whole bunch of my buddies and we're gonna drink a couple beers and sit in a place that smells like popcorn farts and yeah, go into it with that attitude. You're gonna have a fucking fabulous time.
Yeah, just remember that a lot of us played this when we were 13, 14, 15. Like, this is around the turn of the millennium,
Right.
we thought very differently of things. And if you can let go of your modern sensibilities, you'll probably enjoy the fuck out of this ridiculous romp.
Yeah. And this is like I've said often that this era is sort of like the nostalgia fuel era of video games because a lot of these games don't hold up. This one I think does.
Yeah.
Yeah, just remember to support us on social media and hit the like button, comment, please, because Brent is just he's so lonely.
So sad.
But on a serious note, like just tell your friends if you liked listening to us, like spread the word. That would be dope. Like be like, hey, these fucking idiots are not making any sense. Listen to this. This is crazy. So
spread the word about our podcast like it's the Fox Dive.
Yeah. Tell people how much you hate us.
Spread it like I spreaded gonorrhea to the fan when he was trying to knock me up.
Spread it. Spread it like
the guy who
watches 10 hours.
Sorry to tell you this one.
Meryl
doing sit-ups in her underwear
every day.
If you're that dedicated, we love you.
Yeah.
Yes, we're proud of you.
And sorry, subscriber, for giving you gonorrhea. Sorry you had to find out this way.
Hey, go get checked.
I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Like,
Jesus
talking about the plot has just burnt my brain out.
Oh, we love you guys.
All right.
Adios. Bye. Bye.
Bye.